What's happening, guys? It's me, Drew, aka the Green Arrow, and I think I'm just cursed at the moment with freaking SD cards because they really are bugging me now. But this is gonna be my attempt number 5 for this video. Yes, guys, I've recorded it 5 times, and each 5 times something ends up happening to the video, and it's not great. But anyway. This is my review on Gotham Season 3, Episode 4. Let's get into it. So basically, from last week, we had the Mad Hatter and his obsession with getting his sister, Alice. So, the Alice in Wonderland theme actually does continue, guys. It continues this week, and I'll explain who the next characters from Alice in Wonderland are going to be. But we start the episode off and we find out that Mad Hat is still in Gordon's head because he tries to convince him to actually walk out in front of a truck and kill himself. So he was standing at the stop. He pushed the button, waiting for the little green man to appear, as you do when you get to the bus stop, because as you know, children, you look both ways before crossing and you wait for that green man to appear. So Gordon was waiting for the little green man to appear, and whilst he was waiting for the little green man to appear, he starts hearing the Hatter. Now, the Hatter's saying to him, "You're bored with your life. You want it over. You know no one will miss you. Just basically kill yourself." So Gordon basically envisions himself walking out in front of this truck. So then we hear the Hatter just say, "Do it." And he walks on. As he goes to walk out in front of the same truck he just see himself just a minute ago walking out in front of, but a guy actually stops him and says to him, "Do you have a death wish?" And with that, Gordon's face was just like that. And he couldn't really he's trying to get his brain around it. He knows it's got something to do with the Hatter. And he knows that basically he needs to find him to basically sort out his head. So his first point of call, he goes to Barbara Keene. Yes, guys, the same character they're trying to make into freaking Harley Quinn. But he goes to see her and he asks her basically for help. And he basically says to her, "You know what? I need to know where he is. Do you know where he is?" And she was like, "Well, you must be at your lowest if you're coming to me for help." And he basically said, "Listen, if you're gonna help me, then help me. If you're not, then just bog off." And she basically said he was looking for some muscle, basically, because he's got some performance job that he's putting on, kind of thing. And I believe that she tells him where they were. He then goes to the GCPD because he knows that the GCPD are holding Alice. So he wants to get a little bit more information out of her and find out exactly why the Hatter's still in his head. He wants to know what's going on and, what can he do to get him out of his head. So he basically goes down, he sees Barnes, and Barnes basically says to him, "You know what, you need to sort out your head. Why don't you just come back to the GCPD? He says no. He says, "I need 5 minutes with Alice." And Barnes says, "But why do you need 5 minutes with Alice? What are your intentions? What are you planning on doing?" He says, "I'm not planning on doing anything bad. I just need to talk to her." Barnes then says to him, "You know what? You can tell me anything. You can tell me anything." And he basically says to Barnes that he had a confrontation with the Hatter last night. And since last night, he's not been able to get him out of his head. And Barnes said, "Can you, describe what you mean by you can't get him out of your head?" And he was basically like, "I can't get him out of my head. He's in my head. I need a little bit of time, Alice, just to find out a little bit more about him and, if she can help." So Barnes ends up in saying to him, "You know what, you've got 5 minutes with her. You know where she is. She's in the interrogation." He goes down to there and he basically says to Alice, what's so important about you?" And she said, "Well, it's my blood." And he said, "Well, I gathered that, but why is your brother so obsessed with you?" And she said, "Because he wants to make monsters." He said, "With my blood and his hypnotic tricks, he can make Gotham a better place with his monsters for him to basically control and lead and take over Gotham." And Gordon was like, that's just a little bit weird. Why would you want to do something like that? Then she goes on to revealing just a little bit more. Like, Gordon says to her, why are you so scared of him? And she said, it's not that I'm scared of him. It's that he keeps on placing thoughts in my head that a brother shouldn't have about his sister. Now, to me, that's screaming a little bit creepy. That's like sounding a little bit like incest or something along them lines, because what kind of thoughts would you not want your brother to have about you, and there are the kind of thoughts that you wouldn't want your brother to have about you. So I'm taking it something along them lines. But as you know, we should find out a little bit more as the season goes on. So I did say that we were getting introduced to 2 more characters from Alice in Wonderland. So can anyone take a guess who they are? Stick it in the comment section if you think you know. Yeah, ready? Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Yes, guys, we are getting the Tweedledum and the Tweedledee. But for this reference here, for Gotham, they're called the Tweed Brothers. The Tweedle Brothers. And these 2 brothers are basically wrestlers. Like, they're hired muscle around Gotham. You want a job done, you would hire these 2 guys to go do it for you. They don't care who it is. It can be GCPD, it can be some crime boss. They really don't care. They get stuck into it, and basically the Hatter's put the Tweedle brothers under his control, and he basically said to them, you know what, you're not going to work with me, so let's go do it. So, the first time we see the Tweedle brothers in action, we get to see them go to the GCPD with the Hatter, because as we know, the Hatter is going after Alice, and Alice is in the GCPD, and at this particular moment she's in the GCPD with Gordon. So all hell breaks loose, and the Tweedle brothers come in and they start dismantling bodies in the GCPD. You know, Gordon comes out with Alice and confronted by the Hatter. Hatter then says to Gordon, give me Alice. And Alice is like, Gordon's like, no, you're not having her. You know, like, there's no way. And then the Hatter takes out his pocket watch and says, let's see about that. Gordon's back under his control. But before he fully took Gordon under his control, Gordon told Alice to run. Now, Alice ran, and she didn't really get far because she bumped into the Tweedle brothers, who then ends up in kidnapping her and taking her to the second place, where I'll explain in just a minute. But before that, the Hatter turns around to Gordon and basically says to him that, you know, I'm never going to see you again, and yeah, it was nice knowing you. Gordon then slowly puts the gun that he had drawn to the Hatter to his head, and that's where Barnes comes and knocks him out to stop him from actually shooting himself in the head, because that was the intention. The Hatter wanted him to shoot himself in the head. Then you find out that Gordon talks to Lee, and he says to her basically that he's happy for her. He's going to try get over like this bad feeling that he's feeling at this particular moment, because obviously he knows that she's going out with Mario Falcone. Well, he's not Falcone by name, but he is Falcone by blood. And he said, you know, it's going to be hard, but, you know, I'm happy for you. I want the best for you and all this kind of stuff. And he said, I'm never going to stop loving you, but I need to let you get on with your life, kind of thing. And you know what? That kind of like broke the ice between them two, and it kind of gave Gordon the clarity that he needed, kind of thing, because he needed some kind of clarity to move on. Because as we know, Gordon's not been moving on. And that's one of the reasons he took up bounty hunting, was because of Lee. So he ends up in talking to Lee, and Lee says, you know what, like, Barnes needs, he's got your best interest at heart. He needs to know what's going on in your head, considering you just tried to kill yourself. And Gordon basically says to her, you know what, I'm fine. I just need to go find the Hatter, get him to fix this, and I'll be fine. So he ends up in getting escorted from the GCPD. I think they were escorting him to Arkham. I'm not quite sure. But on the way, the transit gets stopped, and you see Bullock. And Bullock basically says to Jim, you know what, you're mine, I'm going to take you, you're my partner, I'm not going to let you get into this stuff on your own, kind of thing. And Gordon turns to Bullock and says, what, so you believe me then? And Bullock goes, it's not that I don't believe you, but I just don't want you to go into this on your own, you know, like, you're my partner, and I believe whatever you say, but please don't make me regret this, because it's my arse on the line if you mess up. So Bullock and him ends up in going to this fairground. And if anyone remembers from season 1, I think it was called Haley or someone. They had the carnival, and you know, you got to see all of the carnivalness and all the monsters that came out of Gotham at that point. Not really bad monsters, but like they were like bad people who done bad things. And you get to see in there, you get to see a couple of nice little Easter eggs. So we already know that the Mad Hatter's in there with Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So I'll tell you the Easter eggs before I tell you the rest of what happened. So we get to see in the background a poster of the Flying Graysons. Now, if anybody knows who the Flying Graysons are, yes, you're right. Give yourself a clap. It is Robin, who is Dick Grayson, who then turns out from Robin to Nightwing, and yes, he is one of the Robins who actually survived, and I believe he is the only Robin who survives, because all the other Robins who take the montage of Robin end up in dying, like David Jason. But it's all good. You also get to see clowns everywhere. Now, when I saw these clowns, I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, it's Joker time, baby, because, you know, you represent a clown with the Joker. And it made me think of Jerome. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, we're going to get Jerome back, which is going to be great. But I don't want Jerome back at this particular moment. I think that Jerome should come back in another 3, maybe 4 episodes. Bring him back. Then it should be all right. Don't bring him back yet, because it doesn't make sense. It's not going to make sense if you bring him back just now, because everything that you've got planned for him, he's the Joker. You need to build up the Joker elements to Jerome before you can introduce Jerome back into it as the Joker. You also, if you were eagle-eyed, you got to see another little Easter egg, and that was Harley Quinn's mallet. Yes, guys, you got to see Harley Quinn's mallet, and that was there as well, right behind the guy. And also, I'm baffled by this, because I really don't want Barbara King to be Harley Quinn, because that would suck. Like, Harley Quinn has a freaking backstory, Gotham. Like, don't put Barbara Keane, who is Jim Gordon's stalker, as Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn, her one objective was the Joker. So, please, I'm begging you, please, don't do it. But getting back to the carnival. So inside the carnival, you get to see the Hatter basically withdrawing vials of blood from Alice. Now, we all know that Alice's blood affects people in different ways, and her blood is very flammable as well. So we get to know pretty quick that the Mad Hatter is up to something really bad after you see 5 syringes of Alice's blood. He makes a joke about infecting the water in Gotham and having everyone turn into monsters if she leaves him. Now, the Mad Hatter's already said that he don't know what he would do if he lost Alice. So, in comes Gordon and Bullock. And guns are drawn. And once again, you get to see Tweedledum and Tweedledee. And a gunfight starts. But before that, they use, I think it's called a spectrum, where you hear the ticking of the noise. And Gordon was once again under the Mad Hatter's spell. But this time was slightly different, because this time, Gordon remembered what he was saying to Lee, and it was that conversation that he had with Lee which actually helped him break the Hatter's spell. And he finally broke the Hatter's spell. But just before that happens, you get to see Alice jump out of a window. And as she jumps out of the window, she impales herself on these spikes. So Alice is now dead. But will Alice stay dead for long? That is the question. I don't reckon she will. I reckon they're going to bring her back at some point, but I don't know how. I don't know when. But I don't believe this is going to be the last time we see Alice. But Alice, at this particular moment, she impaled herself, so she is technically dead. So, gunfight inside. The Tweedle brothers and the Mad Hatter once again get away. Then you get to see at the end of the episode, you got to see Barnes. And Barnes basically went up to this carousel, and he was talking to this crime person who was doing the cleanup, and he said, you made sure you've cleaned this up properly, you've got all that blood away and all that kind of stuff. no traces of her here, no trace of him here, and within that, you could see this piece of blood trailing down the spike which she was spiked onto, and then suddenly it drops, and Barnes looks up, and if anyone's seen 28 Days Later, where the guy gets infected in the eye by the zombie virus, that's pretty much what's going to be happening to Barnes. People reckon that Barnes is going to be turning into Solomon Grundy or to Bane, because at the very end of the episode you get to see, well, before the very end of the episode, you get to see his face go all veiny. And people were like, oh, he's got to be Bane, he's got to be Solomon Grundy. But no, guys, they've already said that Bane's going to be a character that you've not been introduced to yet. So Bane's still to be, not casted, but brought into Gotham. And it's not going to be Bane's, not going to be Barnes. But we do know that something's going to be happening with Barnes, because he's now being infected with Alice's blood. We also got to see Bruce Wayne, Doppelganger number 5, guys, as well. And he basically, to cut it really short, he ends up in going somewhere with Selena, and she ends up in trying to rob this cartel group, and she gets caught trying to steal the money. And as she's caught trying to steal the money, the guys walk in and want to basically cut off her fingers for stealing. And with that, you get to hear a knock on the door, and it was Doppelganger Bruce Wayne. He came in and he kicked ass, guys. I'm telling you now, he kicked ass. So why can't you turn Bruce Wayne into Doppelganger number 5 and give him the same fighting abilities that he's got? Because he kicked ass, man. Like, he kicked ass. But to draw that one really short, basically what happened is he ends up getting stabbed. Then he tells Selena the truth of who he is. And he tells Selena, listen, I'm a clone of Bruce Wayne. I was created from Indian Hills. I don't know why I was created. And basically, everyone was saying I look like Bruce Wayne. I went to Bruce Wayne and to ask him, do you know anything about me? The guy is arrogant. He didn't really tell me much. And basically now I'm going to leave Gotham. Which is what he basically pretty much said to her. He then sees Alfred and Bruce, and Bruce basically says to him, you know, what are your plans? What are you planning on doing? You know, what have you done to Selena? He said, listen, Selena's fine. I'm leaving Gotham, and, you know, you need to stop being such a coward. Me and her kissed, and you know what? She really wants you. And that's how he left it. He jumped off a building, and this building was pretty high. Like, it was pretty high. When you looked up, you could see it looked pretty high. So we know that he can jump at a single bound off of buildings as well. At the very end of the episode, he gets kidnapped by the Court of Owls, and we see Talon, who injects him with some kind of knockout potion and basically says, yes, you are coming with me. She ends up in saying to him, I'm your mum kind of thing. I've been looking for you for a long time. I can give you the answers you want. So that kind of goes into my theory that rather he's going to be another Talon, or he's going to be like Hush, who was like another Bruce Wayne who's going to take over the company kind of thing. Like, you have to go and watch the arc to understand that. But yeah, he's basically going to be created to take over Bruce's company and allow the Court of Owls to get information and to get things that they need to get whilst Bruce is away or doing something, or like, I don't know, whatever. Whenever he's away, that's when they're going to strike with their Doppelganger Bruce Wayne number 5. Okay. So that was that, really, guys. Gotham this week was really interesting. I didn't really go into the Penguin and Nigma and Butch scenario, because really next week it's going to be even bigger and better. But I will tell you that the Penguin won as mayor of Gotham, and it was all thanks to basically the Riddler. But I'll explain a little bit more about that next week. But as always, guys, I'm your host, Drew, aka The Green Arrow. Guys, if I missed anything, you want to know just a little bit more about Gotham, stick it in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, guys, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to keep you informed with all things DC. But as always, guys, I'm your host, Drew, aka The Green Arrow. Straight shooting, people.